So I'm Katie Hutt. I'm presenting with my colleagues Sarah Gilchrist and Melissa Becher from the library's Research, Teaching, and Learning Department. So note, we are not from the licensing department, so maybe don't ask us licensing questions, but you can if you want. We'll see how we answer them. So since we are very short on time, we're really just trying to plant the seeds, if you will, on some theoretical and practical approaches to incorporating AI literacy into information literacy instruction. So this is what we may be doing when we visit your classes as librarians, but it's also what you can apply to your own AI literacy and information literacy as well. All right, so when we're teaching AI literacy, when a librarian is teaching AI literacy, really what we're trying to do is have students think very critically about, yes, when to use AI, and I thought we heard some really thoughtful approaches from the students who've been speaking to us today about how and when they use it. But yes, we want students to think about how to use AI, when to use AI, and then also think really critically about AI inputs, right? What we're putting into AI, and then we're librarians, we really want them to think about the sources that AI is generating and is presenting to them, so the outputs too. So this is really important to us. And so to do this, as librarians, or the three of us at least, we want to infuse our information literacy instruction with AI literacy. So the last few years, there have been a number of frameworks, AI literacy frameworks, that have emerged. One that we really like is called AI Literacy for All, a Universal Framework, and it's by Leo Lowe. He's the Dean of Libraries right now at UVA. And one of the reasons that we like this so much is because it's incredibly practical. He outlines 5 components of AI literacy. You can see them here. And then within each of these components, he details levels of comprehension that a learner should have, and then corresponding content and activities. So really hands-on and incredibly valuable for educators, we think. So that's AI literacy. Shifting gears to information literacy as a whole, the foundational tool that librarians use to impart information literacy concepts is the ACRL framework for information literacy for higher education, which is based around these 6 frames that you see here. This framework is really flexible, and we feel like it does meet the needs of AI literacy. So one of the more effective approaches to AI literacy is this marriage between AI literacy and information literacy. So when we're asking students to evaluate the outputs of one of the AI tools that's, let's say, embedded in a library database, and there are many, many library databases that now have AI embedded in them, we're getting to that technical knowledge component of AI literacy, critical thinking from AI literacy, and then information creation as a process from information literacy. And now I'll pass it over to Sarah Gilchrist.
Great. Thanks, Kitty. I think I can just use this here. So we've been talking about this a lot in the library, and we are a very applied group of thinkers, and we've been testing out a lot of different tools. So I wanted to highlight just some main points that you should stick to when you're using any sort of AI tool. First of all, I mentioned earlier in the day, don't put anything from the library into a large language model. That goes against our contracts. But first, we need to figure out what the sources of information are that are embedded in AI tools. Is it an open source of information, or is it a closed source? So an open source would be any large language model that's, what is it pulling from, right? Is it the open web? We all know how accurate the open web is. If you've ever had to look up some sort of medical condition, you might have gotten some misinformation or some disinformation, or maybe just some sloppy information. Even closed systems, though, like JSTOR has a tool that's on their platform right now 9 times out of 10, I think it's getting a little bit better. It'll tell me that the search results that I've asked for don't have anything to do with the search terms that I've put in, even though it clearly says that they do. So that's a closed system. So we want to figure out where that information is coming from, what type of system it's from. Sometimes that's hard to do. You can't tell. We also want to figure out what the output is. So I kind of skipped to that second one with that example. But how accurate is it, and what's the scope of the information? And the references that we found in large language models are largely hallucinated. So don't trust those, even if you can click through to them. Validate them. It's sort of like using Wikipedia at this point, because sometimes it's pulling from Wikipedia. Compare it to some of the reference materials that we actually have. We have Oxford handbooks. Those are digitally available. I swear there's one on every single topic ever that I've put in there. But use our library resources. This is one of our strengths that we have here at AU. So when we're looking at related AI tools, we were talking about how they're already embedded in things like our library catalog. So there's a Primo AI assistant that's available there. That's going to have different results every time you ask the question. It is not a literature review, but it is a good way to start if you're not sure what to look for. Keep in mind that when you're using AI, the way that you prompt gets you different results, and that can have a big effect in the results that you're seeing. So when you're thinking about lesson plan ideas, you can test the accuracy by asking about yourself. I also have a prompt that I use with my first year writing students where I have 3 scenarios, 2 of which are urban legends, and then 1 is actually based on archival research. And it turns out you can't get to archival research using a large language model. So if you ask ChatGPT to tell you if there was a Jewish FBI agent in the basement of the 30 Rock building, it's not going to give you any information about that, even though it's based on accurate information. So test it out yourself. Do small things and practice critical thinking and lateral reading. So use those outside sources and bring them in. And I'm going to pass it along to Melissa.
Thank you. So if you're looking for some more ideas to incorporate AI literacy into your classes, I wanted to talk about a library resource that could be of help. It is called Credo Instruct, and it is a collection of tutorials, videos, and quizzes that can be easily incorporated into classes to introduce students to these concepts. The library faculty have been using Credo for years in our writing classes and other classes to supplement in-class librarian instruction. Over the summer, Credo came up with modules related to artificial intelligence. There are 3 for students and 2 for faculty. The one for students, there's an intro to AI. There's also a tutorial on using generative AI for research. And then there's one on multimodal AI, so using AI for data, images, and video. There are 2 faculty modules. One is an introduction to AI, but the other one I think might be particularly helpful. It is on teaching resources for AI literacy. So you can go through and it will give you examples of how to bring AI literacy components into your class. I'm not going to show any of the things today because of time, but Credo is in the A to Z database list on the library website. Let me see. Yes, Credo's on, yes, is there. The modules are easily incorporated into Canvas, and then we have some instructions for how to do that. And we encourage you to explore and ask us at the library if you have any questions about it. Thank you.
Those are our conclusions.
Are there any questions?
Well, if I may, I'm just curious. So obviously, it's a matter of policy not to share library resources with large language models. But is there any structure in place to prevent it, or is it that how is that ensured? I guess, or is there a way to ensure it?
I don't think there's I don't think there is now. I'll also say this isn't the way it's going to be forever, but it is the way it is right now, right? Like libraries are working on license agreements. The vendors are working on their license agreements. It's slow and it takes a lot of time to catch up. So it's not going to be in violation of it forever, I would think. I mean, I don't know, but that's what I would think.
Thank you.
So you're against open LLM, but do you have alternatives? So you're against the open LLM, but maybe closed LLM are still okay. Do you have alternatives that you can offer us that we can still use? Maybe give us a link that's okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it seem like we were against open LLMs. Like any tool that you use, you just need to understand the context in which the information is created. So if you're using an open LLM, understand that you might be getting something from Reddit, you might be getting something from Wikipedia, you might be getting something from an undergraduate student's blog post that has their opinion in it. So I think using it, I came from a humanities background, so to me the context is the most important part. Using it with the understanding of where the information is coming from and then doing that analysis is really good. The closed models, the most successful things that I've seen are the ones that are trained on discrete variables. So when you're getting into the wicked problems of human-centered issues, sometimes ChatGPT or any large language model isn't going to be able to give you something as creative, but it's good to have those. Did I answer your question?
I guess my question wasn't clear. My question was, is there an AI tool that's not going to violate any licensing problems?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know, we would just have to look at our contracts with the vendors and just make sure that it doesn't, is what I could say, yeah.
Any open source material, though, you can use in an LLM. So if you find, and there is a way to, if you're searching on a library, to only search for open source resources, and those can be used in LLM. But right now, anything that's not open source can not right now. But again, it's not going to be like that forever, I think.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much.